Let me show you how to make a dynamic inspector. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to walk you through how to go ahead and create an inspector like this that is going to be dynamic. And by dynamic, I'm talking about something like this where we have a weapon type, we have a drop down, we have knife, pistol, and shotgun as options. And based off what option we pick, will determine what variables are exposed to us that we can edit and mess around with. Alright, so how do we go ahead and do this? Well, I'm going to go ahead and add a script to my node. I've already got one here. It's completely empty to start us off. And obviously this is going to, in my case, be extending a node 2D because that's what it's attached to. And I'm going to go ahead and add the @tool keyword here so that it can run inside the editor. Alright, so we have a good start here. Now, of course, we're going to need an enum for us to work with so we can have our drop-down list. And this is where we then need all of our exports. So I'm going to go ahead and create an export of our weapon type, and I put an underscore in there, that way I can have a space in the words. And this, of course, is going to be cast as weapon type because we want it to be our enum. And of course, by adding that, just adding that in there, you can take a look. We have our drop down right here with all of our options in the inspector. Okay, great, fantastic. Now, what about all of our other exports? Well, in this example, I have reach, fire rate, spread, and attachments. And this is showing us a float, integer, bool. You can, of course, use this with all of your data types. So if you want to use an array, a dictionary, it doesn't really matter. And because these are effectively just going to act like normal exports, you could use your export hints in there for your multi-line or for a range. Right. That shows you that we can go ahead and we could use something like this, right? We could fully use out our export range, minimum, maximum, step, and additional arguments. And in this case, this would add a suffix to us. So we could take a look and we see we have our reach here. We got it in the form of a slider. It extends by 0.5 on each step, and it's got the FT suffix right there in the inspector. So it is just an export at the end of the day, so we can take advantage of all of these things if that is what you choose to have. Now, I don't think we would need any of that for something like reach, and reach maybe 3.0 might be the max that we would need if you're going to take into consideration like arm length, maybe 3.5. I don't know, let's go 3.5. We'll put that in there. All right, and it's got to go like that to update it. There we go. So now we have this little slider for numbers. All right, so up to you if you want to use any of those fancy setups with your export, if you just want to use normal exports. But now that we have that set up, we can take a look at two things. One, we're going to need to send out a signal to our editor. Okay, I don't know why that was popping up. We're not even hovering over anything, but we're going to need to send an editor to our, send a signal to our editor. And we're going to need the editor to perform certain actions once it is going through its updating process. So in order to set this up so it'll happen, let's think. When do we want this to happen? Well, we want this to happen when our weapon type gets changed here in the inspector. Okay, well, how do we make things happen when things get set? Well, if you remember the old get set video, which a lot of you probably didn't watch, you probably found it boring, probably didn't see a point to it. This is one of those situations where taking a look at a get set would come in handy. And for those of you that didn't watch, this is going to allow us to change the set of our weapon type so that when, I know that kind of sounded a little confusing, even sounded a little odd to me, but basically going to allow specific actions to happen every time weapon type changes its value. So we're going to come in, we'll do colon, drop to the next line, set, our parentheses, we'll pass in the value, and value is going to be whatever we're setting it to. Right, so when we go through this drop down, value is going to be either, it's going to be any of our weapon types in this case, right? The knife, pistol, shotgun. So just like a function, we're going to come in, and the first thing we need to do is we need to set weapon type equals value. And this on its own is what the set function is doing, right? It's just setting the weapon type equal to whatever value we're trying to set it to. So at its core, this is set. Anything we do past this is going to be extra functionality that we add. And what we're going to add is we're going to call a function called notify property list changed. And if you want to take a look at that, we'll hold control and click on it. And with 4.4, if you're using that, you can always just hover over it and you can get yourself a little blurb there. And what you can see, I know this one's a little harder to read, which is why I'm opening it up. Now we can't zoom in, unfortunately, but what it does is it emits the property list changed signal, and this is mainly used to refresh the editor so that the inspector and editor plugins are properly updated. So by calling this function, it is going to send out this signal that allows us to update the editor. And from updating the editor, that means the properties will be updated. Now, in order to kind of intercept this, we're going to get involved in a function called underscore validate property that has an argument of a dictionary and returns void. I'm just going to go ahead and pass in this case so I can control and click to show you this. And you can see we have examples here, of course, code blocks. And you can see this overrides the method to customize the existing properties. Every property info gets through this method, except properties added with the get property list. So when our properties here are being updated for being displayed, what are we going to do? Well, that's where our block is going to come in here. So what we want to do is we want to know what things to hide and what things to show. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and create an array so I can keep track of things that I want to hide and things that I want to show. Now, anything that I add into my hidden properties array here are things that I'm going to be hiding from the inspector. And what we know what to hide is going to be based off of the weapon type that we have selected. Now, we could do 3 if statements, say if the weapon type knife, if weapon type pistol, if weapon type shotgun, and we could go off of that. But instead, since we only have one argument to roll with here, or one argument to make a comparison with, I'm just going to use a match statement. C#, this would be a switch case. So I'm going to say to match our weapon type, and if it's a knife, these are the items that we're going to add to our hidden properties. So I'm going to append or add fire rate property. And note this is a string. My fire rate name into my hidden properties array. Same thing with spread going into our array and attachments going into the array, because we don't need any of those 3 properties if the weapon type is a knife. Now, if we're going for a pistol, we can hide reach because we don't need reach. It's not something with melee, right? It's got a extremely long reach. In fact, yeah. And if it's a pistol, we don't really need spread because it's just a single projectile. And then we go to shotgun, and the only thing that we need to hide here is reach, because reach doesn't matter, but it is going to have a fire rate, it is going to have a spread, and you would be able to have the option of whether or not you have attachments available, or you have attachments, period. All right. So now that we have that, we have whatever we want to hide added into our array based off what we have selected. So now we need to actually hide those properties. And to do that, all we have to say is if property.name in hidden properties. And you'll see here, if I just go ahead and we can go ahead and let's print property.name here. And you can take a look at it, right? So we can see exactly what it is that we're getting here. So I'll go to knife, we can select pistol, and we can see, if I can grab a hold of that, we can see we're in reach, spread, reach, spread, reach, spread, reach, spread, right? We're getting all this stuff kind of pushed out to us, and we're only getting those because of pistol, right? So we're getting reach and spread. These are all the things that we want to hide. So if we select shotgun, we should have just reach in there, right? So we see we just have reach, and that's printed out a lot for us. And if we were to select knife, we should get fire rate, spread, and attachments, right? So we can see what we're working with, right? These are the property names that are inside of our hidden properties. So how do we actually hide these now that we have them? Well, there's a flag on it called usage, and that is on all the properties that we have inside of our inspector. And what we need to do is we need to get our property. We need to change the usage of it. And we're changing this to the flag property usage. And you can see here we have always, we have array. Move this down, category, checkable, checked, class, default, editor, and so on, right? You can see all this in there, but what we're going to set it to is going down to the N. There we go. Property usage, no editor. Right, so we saw that the property name that we're getting is all of our properties that we want hidden here based off what we selected, and we're setting those to usage no editor so that it does not get used within the editor. Right, and if I just hover my mouse over it, we can see we do get a short blurb here that just says default usage, but without showing the property in the editor storage. Right, so I'm just gonna click off and click back into my node. Now, if you only have the one node, then you may have to close the scene and reopen it for this to update. But now you should see that we only have the one value here for knife. We've got both values here for pistol, and we got all three here for shotgun. I'll just show you an example here, how we can easily just continue adding on to this. I went ahead and I created a set onto my attachments. Same thing, I just changed it to attachments equals value. We kept the same function of notify property list changed. I created a new enum for my attachment types, and I have a new variable that's been exported here for attachment choice, and it is an attachment type. That way I have a nice little drop down here as well. And inside of my validate property, all I did was add another match statement for attachments, right? Remember, that's our Boolean that's being exported here whenever we have pistol or shotgun selected. And if it's set to true, we'll just pass, right? Because we want our property to be shown. And if it's false, then we're going to go ahead and append attachment choice to our hidden property list, and that's it. So now I can change between if I want, if we go pistol or shotgun. If we enable attachments, now we have a drop down of different attachments. So you can now take this and extend it further and say, and match this based off of attachment choice, and then you can list out all your stock options, or you can list out all the grip options, or list out all the trigger options, and so on. So you can do this to fully flesh out the inspector to only really show the properties that you need and the ones that you want at that time, based off of the choices you or the user, if you're making a plugin, can see. All right, so hopefully that's clear on how to go ahead and do that. And as you can see, it's very simple if you want to add on to it or expand an existing option even further. Now, I know we haven't done this in a long time here, but I'll go ahead and give you a quick look at the C# version, which will function the exact same way. So right above our partial class, right, our declaration here, we have our square brackets and the word tool. That way this is going to run inside the editor. We have our enum for weapon type, exactly the same situation that we had set up. We have our variable here for private variable for weapon type. Exporting out our weapon type, right? All pretty normal stuff. Exporting out our reach, fire rate, spread, attachments, and all that. And you can see notify property list change, same thing. We're just following the new naming scheme or case, I guess we should say. But all in all, pretty well the same thing. Validate property still starts with an underscore. This is still a dictionary for the property. And in this case, I'm doing a new hash set in this situation, but yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And like I said earlier, this is a switch case with C#. And we're just matching the weapon type based on if it's a knife, pistol, shotgun, and adding what it is we want to hide, and then running through our hidden properties. All right, so if it contains the property name, if our property name is inside of that, then we're going to set the usage flag to the no editor. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. And if you use C#, hopefully that's just that gives you an idea of how to set this up and get yourself going. All right, so that'll do it for this one. Hopefully you learned a bit. I assume a lot of you probably did. And with that, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.